Hello lovers, welcome to the Butterfly Effect podcast hosted by myself, Lauren Amy. This is for those who are ready to take up space, who are living a soft life loudly and are ready to savor the sweetness in each moment. Here we're going to embrace transformation, the beauty of the in-between and the magic of becoming. So pull up a seat and listen in because life is delicious and it's about goddamn time we eat it up. I want you to romanticize every aspect of your life to the point where it's actually quite sickening. Grab your matcha, get comfortable. Here we go again. Okay, I'm going to try and do things a little bit differently with this week's episode. I'm going to try to just talk. I have many a thought, as I always do, and I'm sat in my crafty, cozy, creative little corner. I'm mixing up a little bit this week. I'm sat in a different space in my flat, a space that I have been loving recently. I've gathered a new gorgeous array of plants, and this particular spot where I'm sat underneath my vision board is just calling to me right now. If you've been following me on Instagram, you might have seen that I've done a few meditations in this particular spot, and it just feels like a nice place to sit, let the thoughts land, let words spill out of my mouth, and hopefully they make sense. Sometimes I worry about these episodes where I'm trying to almost like, you know, when you're like, I don't know if you guys do this actually, but when you're showing up online and when you're creating content, sometimes you're self-editing in the moment, and I hate it. So I'm really consciously going to try not to do that today, and I'm just going to talk, okay? I'm going to pretend that you guys are sat in front of me. We're having a little matcha in my living room. You know, I don't think I can fit all of you in my living room, but we'll try. We'll get cozy, get comfortable, lovely. I'm not great at the at-home matcha. Actually, if anyone's got any tips on how to make a great at-home matcha, that would be fabulous because it tastes nice. I mean, I have put like half a bottle of vanilla syrup in there. It tastes nice, but it just, how do they get it to look aesthetic other than just putting it in a nice sunflowery wine glass? Yes, I'm drinking matcha out of a wine glass. This is where we're at. We're romanticizing the fuck out of everything, okay? All right, so here we go. Yes, I want us all to make our lives as romantic as humanly possible. And for my girlies, this is especially for you. But guys, treat yourself to a little bit of loving, all right? This goes for you too. Everyone can make their life so gorgeously romantic in the best way, but we choose not to. We choose to actually, I don't know, see it as somewhat cringey or embarrassing, or I don't know, we talk ourselves out of it. We give ourselves excuses all the while. And the past few weeks, I just feel like life has actually been really romantic, even though I'm like not talking to anyone on a romantic level, but it's the way in which I talk to myself, the way in which you speak to yourself on a Monday morning, right? You know, when there's that pressure, there's that expectation to hit the ground running. And taking my Monday morning, for example, I've been coming and going out of my flat like a bat out of hell recently. Like, if my plants could talk, my plants would be like, oh, she's back. Oh, no, she's gone again. Oh, she's back. Oh, no, she's gone again. I have been in and out of my flat. I don't think I've spent more than an hour in my flat since like, God, last Tuesday. And then it got to my Sunday night and I was like, oh, right, I get to go home and at least have a couple hours to sort out the chaos, because I've been whipping through this space like an absolute hurricane. And my flat was looking particularly horrendous. And obviously that kind of fed through into my Monday morning, and I was just like, God damn, we need to land, we need to reroute, we need to just take a minute, okay? But obviously with it being Monday, I was like, no, I've got to do this, I've got to do that, I've got to get all these things done, I've got to action all these things, I've got to put all these things into place. So I had to really speak to myself in this mindful way and be like, girl, it's all right. You've been working the majority of the weekend. Take a breath and have a slow morning. Have a slow Monday morning. So the way in which we speak to ourselves matters, you know? So regardless of whether you have a romantic interest in your life, I want you to make yourself your own romantic interest, okay? I was hanging out with a friend at the weekend, and I don't know if she listens, but hey girl, you're gonna know that I'm talking about you. But you've given me the go ahead to mention you on the pod, so hey girl, here you are. And we had a very spontaneous floristry workshop, which again is another thing that I want to reference, is like, put things out there. If there's something that you want to do and something that you're curious about, put it out there, put it into the universe. I literally put it on my stories that I would love to one day maybe do like a floristry workshop or a floristry course, because I love the idea of just playing with flowers and making pretty little bouquets. And I've been told in the past that I'm okay at it, so I was like, cool, let's see if I can learn some more tips and tricks. And anyway, I put it on my story. And one of my gorgeous yogis, who I completely forgot is a florist herself, I forgot to connect the dots there. She offered to give me a one-to-one, and I'm like, oh my God, amazing. How kind, how lush, how lovely. And because I am also a lovely person, I invited a pal along who I know is also interested in that kind of thing, right? Anyway, cut through. We went to the wholesalers, and let me tell you, I nearly lost my mind. This place is fantastic. Every single flower you could like possibly imagine is there. And the whole concept of buying yourself flowers is just, I love it. You know, the whole God, Miley Cyrus, like, listen to Miley Cyrus herself. I can buy myself flowers. Yes, you goddamn can. But my friend who I was with said, oh, I can't be buying myself roses. I think she was fine to buy herself like other flowers, but just not roses. Roses are too romantic. And I'm like, honey, they're not romantic enough. Come on, we need to be doing more. We need to be like loving ourselves, worshipping ourselves more, because what's the point otherwise? And this weekend also featured a cacao ceremony, which further amplified all these thoughts and feelings that are just kind of spilling to the surface right now. In which, like, who is all this for? Okay, who am I living this life for, if it's not to make it the most vibrant, the most expansive, the most joyous, the most romantic, the most whatever I want it to be, right? But when we're like, I don't know, almost criticizing ourselves or holding ourselves back because it's too much, or it's too romantic, or it's too cringy, or it's too embarrassing, who sets the rules here? Who said that's too much anything? And more often than not, again, I think it's like a self-limitation we put on ourselves, that we can't be seen to be doing too much. And in reality, I just feel like we're not doing enough. And I don't want that to come across as like a criticism, like, honeys, we need to be doing more. But I think in this context, in loving ourselves more, in admiring ourselves more, in the way in which we talk to ourselves, just being a little bit more conscious that we're not self-limiting, we're not holding ourselves back. I feel like I've been pouring so much love into myself recently, and the reason I want to bring this up is because as a result, I've had so many gorgeous opportunities come my way recently. Again, like putting it out into the universe that I wanted to do a floristry workshop, and then this gorgeous girl Holly slides into my DMs and is like, I can teach you. Amazing. That's a perfect example of me saying, I've got this curiosity about something, I want to explore it, I want to lean into it. And the universe being like, here you go. Literally just delivering it to me on a plate. Here we go. That happened like last month. If you guys remember, I said I wanted to do some sort of workshop. And then again, I had that message come through on WhatsApp being like, here you go, here it is. You know, ask and you shall receive. Okay. But when we're constantly self-limiting ourselves, we're holding ourselves back on so much opportunity that could be coming through. That's kind of like, if you imagine yourself like sat in this little bubble, you know, and we're just kind of like drifting through our day, right? That self-limitation bubble that you are in, all these opportunities that are drawn to you because of your magnetism, because of your aura, they're drawn to you, but you have this self-limitation bubble existing around you. So those opportunities are just bouncing off you. They're coming for you. They're heading your way, and you're like, no, that's too much. And they're like, oh, okay, maybe Maybe she doesn't want them. And those things, those opportunities, they're just going to bounce off that bubble and they're going to go elsewhere. They're going to go to another person, you know? One thing I also said to this same friend over the weekend is that you miss out on 100% of the shots you don't take. And I feel like actually the past few days I have been like a walking, talking metaphor. I've been like spitting all these gorgeous quotes, words, musings that I'm just deciding to live my life by. You miss out on 100% of the shots that you don't take. So when you are self-limiting yourself, when you are saying that's too much, you're missing out on so much. And I have just been giving myself permission to do all the things that I wanted to do. All the paddleboarding, all the floristry workshops, the reading, the dancing, and the yoga, the movement, the expansion. It's all falling into place in a real beautiful way that I didn't expect or I didn't anticipate. And as a result of that, again, my own magnetism, my own aura is drawing, it's pulling more of these things towards me. Some of you guys might have seen I had a big ass corporate event last week that I didn't know about until 2 days prior. And then suddenly I'm going in for sound checks. Suddenly I'm having to go in to meet with the facilitator, check out the venue. And suddenly I'm having to do all these things. And what a great time that was. What a fantastic opportunity that was, you know, to share more of my passion, to share more of my work with more people. That's exactly why I've been showing up in this way, because I want to reach more people. So again, your own magnetism, your own aura. We all have an aura. We all have our own kind of like gravitational pull, if you will. And sometimes we think that we all exist on our own little planets or our own little islands, right? Which, I mean, fine, yeah, okay, it's nice to almost like protect your peace a little bit. Imagine this kind of peaceful moat around you and nothing else is gonna like detract from that. But again, in that protecting of ourselves, we are also limiting ourselves. So I just want us to romanticize the fuck out of everything and stop seeing things as too much, as too cringy, as too embarrassing, because you are just missing out on so much. A friend said to me also at the weekend, she was like, I actually can't remember the exact word she said, but she said, something to do with my Instagram and how, things are seeming quite full and quite vibrant. And yes, I think I just moved through a certain peak, and who knows, there's going to be a trough at some point, because that's life. There's peaks and troughs, there's rises and falls. But also, I'm hungry. Your gal is hungry. But not because I'm starved, but it's like, what else is out there that I can gobble up, you know? I'm being a little greedy little bitch, all right? What else is out there that I can gobble up, savor, nourish mind, body, spirit, soul, and continue to build this romantic, vibrant, fulfilling life for myself? And again, my single girlies, this one is really for you, because when we are keeping ourselves somewhat starved, when we are keeping ourselves somewhat limited, we will then desperately reach out for the scraps, the crumbs, okay? We don't want the crumbs, we want the whole goddamn loaf, okay? And I think when we're willing to accept those crumbs, that's when we fall into like a mediocre situation or something that's just gonna do you a disservice. Again, be it in a dating scenario where you know, a guy love bombs you, it gives you crumbs and you're constantly like chasing. Again, we're back on that hamster wheel, chasing more and more and more, when really you're not getting anything back from that. So instead of seeking that outwards, outside of yourself, from another person that you have no idea about, you have no idea of their intentions, you have no idea what type of person they are, but you know who you are, you know what you are worthy of, you know of your ability, your power. And that power of yours lies in those daily decisions, okay? Last week I spoke a little bit about putting self-trust in motion, and that comes from the daily decisions we make. Again, how you speak to yourself on a Monday morning, how you make these conscious decisions, these tiny little adjustments to further serve and satisfy you, okay? That is where your power lies. But again, are we choosing to ignore it? Are we choosing to just move past it? Are we choosing to just save it for another time? Ask yourselves why. Why? Life is almost like one giant first date. It's like, you know, there's that giddiness, there's the excitement, there's a possibility, the potential, the anticipation, all right. There's that flirtiness, and you know, it's when it's a good first day and it all kind of feels effortless, and there's that flirty banter, okay, when you soften into it, right? That could be our whole entire life, one fabulous, flirty first day, okay? Maybe even start to see each day as like you're dating yourself again for the first time. You know, what is it that I'm going to do for myself on this day? How is it that I can make even the smallest moment just that little bit more romantic, okay? And yes, we can talk about the wishy-washy things and of like setting the scene, all right? But more often than not, it's literally just in the way that you talk to yourself. And again, when you're saying to yourself, that's too much, that's too cringy, that's embarrassing, you're holding yourself back from so much possibility, from so much potential. And then you are then somewhat keeping yourself somewhat starved. You know, that's when we'll fall into like the scraps, the crumbs. You know, we don't want no goddamn crumbs. We want the whole damn loaf, a beautiful sourdough loaf. Yes. Then we're going to slice up, we're going to toast, we're going to put some butter, some honey. Lovely, okay? I want you to romanticize things so much so that it's almost sickening. And I want your cup to be overflowing so much that it's at that point where it's flowing out into everything else around you. It's overflowing so much that you then have to share it with others. There's almost no choice in the matter, because I can't soak up all this joy that I'm creating. I have to share it with others. There's no other choice. I sometimes think if I were dating, and in fact, if I was the man in the situation, I would be fantastic at dating. The attention to detail would be there, you know? If I was dating, I would rock up with a bunch of flowers that I've beautifully created because I've taken the time to actually know how to do it right. I would hold the door open for my guy. I even do this for my friends, right? My female friendships are actually some of the most romantic friendships I've ever seen. And I love that. Again, this is why I don't feel starved of anything, because I'm surrounded by romance. Whether that's me offering it out to my friends or whether it's in small ways returning back to me, I'm surrounded by romance. And we're quickly coming into a new month, honeys. We're quickly coming into May, and obviously May is going to bring an entirely new theme. And I've spent the majority of my day in this cozy corner, crafting that theme and getting all the words together. I've known exactly what it's going to be for quite some time, and I'm so excited to share it. And I think in this next month, without going into it in too much detail, I'm going to save it for the big reveal, the grand, the premiere, if you will. Well, I want us just to seize life with a bit more oomph. Like, grab it by the balls, seize it with a bit more oomph, hold on tight, because we're entering into this real yang season, this yang time of year where things are vibrant, things are full. And are you going to continue living life in monotone, in greys, in shades? I nearly said shades of grey, and that's a different thing. But like, are you going to continue living muted in this low definition, this low vibration? Or are you going to rise up and be like, yeah, I want more. I'm worthy of more. So be ballsy, be brave. It is so brave to be yourself. At the cacao ceremony at the weekend, there was kind of like for me especially, there was like an undercurrent theme of identity. And I realised I hadn't actually sat with the question of who am I for a long time. And it actually dawned on me, like, I am so much. And we always want to apply a label to ourselves, right? But it gets to a point where no label can encapsulate all that you are. And that's what I want for you. Okay, women, we can be so complex, so multifaceted, so layered, but we're looking for that one label, that one puzzle piece that's going to define everything, right? But no, there's so many puzzle pieces, right? There's so many puzzle pieces that add in to this glorious jigsaw of your life, So again, I realized it's been a little bit of time since I recognized like who I am and what is all this for, and is there an expectation I'm still trying to satisfy, and maybe I have still been pretending, I don't know, because I had no real idea what my intention for this ceremony was this time around. And sometimes I struggle with that because I do so many of them. And everyone is so different and unique in its own way. Sometimes I come to a ceremony, I'm like, I actually don't know what my intention is. Maybe I would just like Mama Cacao to give me like a little forehead kiss and just stroke my hair a little bit and remind me that everything's okay. Sometimes that is all that you need. But when the ceremony kind of settled down and we started sharing and you're in that kind of atmosphere, that's when the thought started to land, where I realized actually maybe the reason I haven't landed on an intention is because I haven't actually taken the time to ask myself the question, who am I? Who am I right now in this moment? And if I were to ask me that right now, actually, yeah, this is great exercise. Ooh, who am I right now in this moment? Oh, okay, whilst I'm doing this for myself now, I also want you guys to be doing that right now. Who are you in this moment? And not necessarily with the roles and responsibilities. Like, yes, you might be a mother. Yes, you might be daughter, sister. Yes, you might be a colleague. Maybe you're a boss, a CEO. I don't know, okay? You might be all those things. But beneath that, who are you in this moment? And in this moment, I am bold. I am brave. I am seizing an opportunity, and I am reaching for these glimmers whenever they make themselves known and just letting them take me. Those glimmers are there for a reason. I'm someone that searches for the glimmers in all things, believing that they're there for a reason, they're there to teach me something, they're there to show me something. And I trust wholeheartedly in that. I'm a person that trusts in the glimmers, that trusts in the small moments. That might not make much sense. But again, who are you in this moment? And as best as you can, try not to relate it to any kind of role or responsibility you might have, Yes, we show up as many different things. We wear many different hats and we're spinning many different plates in the air. But who are you in this moment? What is it that you believe in this moment? What's inspiring you in this moment? What's fulfilling you in this moment? What are you working to? Yeah. And again, we can constantly be learning that all the while. We can constantly be shape-shifting, evolving all the while. That's this beautiful thing about being a sentient being a human, this emotional, living, breathing human being. You can be continuously evolving. And another quote that I heard over the weekend, and again, I think I put this on my Instagram, and it was actually on it's called Man-Made by Pete Wicks, and it was an interview with Professor Green. And I think Pete Wicks starts all these episodes with, what do you think it means to be a man? And I sometimes like listening to these episodes because it's nice to get the male perspective sometimes. Because like, what are they thinking? What are you thinking, good sir? Please tell me there are, those decent, well-rounded men. I know that they are, but God, they're just so hard to come by sometimes. Anyway, that's a whole other different topic. And maybe I'll get into decentering men in another moment. But anyway, and yeah, so Pete Wicks asked Professor Green the question, what do you think it means to be a man? And right off the cuff, with no hesitation, Professor Green said, being a work in progress and doing the work. Oh, and it's still it still lands deep within my bones now, rather. And I've said it to a few friends since. I've shared it a couple of times since, and every time I just felt, oh, how great is that? That can apply to literally anyone, any being on this earth. The best thing you can be is a work in progress and do the work. And again, trust and allow for your own evolution, your own becoming all the while, but also soak up each new version of you that you land into. And in this next month, we are reaching that, that full bloom. I don't want to say it's the peak, but I want to say it's this moment where we have really arrived into this new version of ourselves. And I just want us to then play with it more, to be bold with it more, And then even as you get there, that's still not your peak. That's still not the end of your evolution. There's more beyond that. But again, are we going to keep ourselves in this self-limiting bubble? Or are we going to actually trust in our own magnetism and our own aura and just see what comes our way? And there's a beautiful thing that was also mentioned at the cacao ceremony over the weekend, where one of the ladies said that she's actually quite happy in her comfort zone. And I love that. Okay, I think there's a difference between feeling trapped in your comfort zone and that self-limiting bubble and actually feeling comfortable in your comfort zone. The comfort zone is called a comfort zone for a reason, because it is comfortable. Why would we really want to leave that, okay? But I think the push, the little nudge to get out your comfort zone is there when we feel like a change needs to be made, or when we feel like somewhat frustrated with something, or when we feel, or like when you're wanting to call something in, when you're wishing for something, whatever that might be. I think that's where the encouragement to step out of your comfort zone comes from. But again, if you're quite content, if you're happy with your routines and how you're showing up each day, and you don't necessarily need to be like calling in more, you're quite comfortable with what you have right now, then yeah, girl, enjoy it. Lap it up. But again, let yourself lap it up. I think some of us get so used to what we have that we forget to enjoy it. And it almost becomes like the background information. It becomes like our norm, our baseline. What once was like super magical and joyful becomes, again, muted. Okay, so you can be in that comfort zone as long as you wish. Spend all your days there. But if you're gonna be there, enjoy it and live it, Again, we don't have to always be seeking out these new things. It's only if that calling is there. It's only if that desire is there. And if you're content, cool. Be content, Gosh, these 30 minutes have actually gone by so fast, and I have no idea whether any of this has made sense. But yes, if you're comfortable where you are, yeah, be comfortable. But nothing changes if nothing changes. And if you're wanting more, if there is a craving, if there is a desire, give yourself permission to break through that self-limiting bubble and romanticize things in even the smallest of ways. Because in that, your aura, your magnetism just gets stronger and stronger. Your power becomes undeniable. And I'm not necessarily going to tell you like the ways in which we can romanticize our life, because that is up to you. What you find romantic is going to be different to someone else's idea of romance, But again, it's down to those details. The way in which you talk to yourself in the morning, and yeah, the moments you carve out for yourself. It's in those tiny details. And you know how we talk about these rose-tinted glasses? Sometimes we see that sometimes as a negative. I actually see that as a real positive. I actually want to get myself a pair of rose-tinted glasses and just like be able to walk through my day literally seeing things with this pink glow, this radiant, rosy glow. I love that. I fucking love that, So how do I want to leave this one, honeys? I don't know. This one was a bit of a waffly one. I hope it landed. I hope it made sense. But basically, get out of that self-limiting bubble, You've been invited into this life. You've been invited to the party, right? And the door is unlocked. You just have to open it. You just have to cross that threshold. But that self-limiting bubble is keeping yourself out. It's keeping out these opportunities. It's keeping out these adventures, these things that you are inviting in, but for some reason still seeing them as too much, or still seeing ourselves as not worthy enough. So yeah, I'll leave that one there. Get out of that self-limiting bubble. And again, who are you in this moment? And who are you living this life for? If to not make it the most magical, the most vibrant, the most your imagination can make it. But again, in order to make it our own, we have to know who we are in each moment. I'm going to finish this with a shameless little plug as well. Again, like I said, we are stepping into May, which brings a gorgeous new month of adventures, one of them being the Bloom and Breathe Yoga and Wellness Day Retreat on the 30th May at the Granary. Danny and I have been doing so much self-study around this, and gosh, new ideas are dropping in each week, and it's continuing to evolve and to grow, and we're so excited. But we want you to be there. We really want you to be there because we believe in the message and the transformation that this retreat is offering. So if you are tired of this mundanity, if you have existed for far too long in the shadows and you're ready to live life in full color, in full HD, if you're ready to step into your full bloom and be reminded of who you are, all that you are, then yeah, come bloom and breathe with us on the 30th of May. It's going to be a gorgeous day of yoga, floristry workshops, bouquet making, tension release rituals, more yoga, food, yummy goodness, all that lovely stuff from our hearts to yours. And yeah, we'd love you to be there. So thank you, stunners. Have a gorgeous rest of your Wellness Wednesday. And yeah, pop that self-limiting bubble and I'll see you on the other side. All right, honeys, love ya. Mwah. Alright, stunners, thank you so much for listening to another episode of the Butterfly Effect podcast. I hope it has left you feeling suitably inspired. And as always, please don't forget to rate and review, like and subscribe, all those lovely things, as not only does this help the podcast grow, but it also helps us to reach more beautiful souls who need to hear these conversations. And of course, come hang out with me over on Instagram and TikTok at LaurenAmyYD, and follow the pod at butterflyeffect.pod. You can also dive deeper into yoga, meditations, poetry, and so much more with me over on Patreon. Until next time, keep living a soft life loudly because you know you deserve it, and I'll see you in the next episode. Mwah!